We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is, from Willy Pete's Chocolate, it is the Han-Banero in carbonite. And you can see there's a picture here of somebody who may or may not be Han Solo, and he looks like he is holding a habanero pepper there, possibly, in the carbonite. This is actually a bar I meant to get out in 2023, but the place I ordered it from managed to not send it to me with the rest of the order. No names, but so I had to reorder it, and just in time for when you're seeing it now. And this is dark chocolate with habanero. It is listed as sort of a medium heat here. I think they call it a very hot on this scale. And let's take a look here. So we have the Veterans Crisis line. Pause the screen if you are in need. And to the ingredients, we have the usual dark chocolate stuff and habaneros. So label's a touch challenging to read. This is a cool idea, though. I mean, obviously the habanero is the main point of this, but I think this is kind of a neat idea. And of course, you know, obviously it's more meaningful if you are a Star Wars fan, I would suppose. I honestly am not particularly, but these movies came out, you know, these were a substantial part of growing up in the 70s and 80s, so certainly I'm familiar with it. All right, we've got, let's see if there is an impression on the bar itself, or if it's just a bar. Oh, whoa, whoa. So it looks like there is a sort of a impression here. Oh, that is wild. So it looks like there's almost an embossing effect here, where it looks like there should be something, but then we come over and it's just squares. Oh well, that's fine. Let's break us off some and just get into it. So, I did a video for the firecracker, also from Willy Pete's, and same on the heat scale. Oh, I think this one is actually a little bit hotter. The other one had pop rocks and stuff like that in there. And I was thinking it would really be nice to have just a habanero, just the dark chocolate. None of the other sort of sugary goofiness that might change the heat a little bit. And that's what this is. It's still slightly sweet for dark chocolate for me, but it's very good. I'm a little surprised the habanero isn't contributing more bitterness. And this kind of is a good application for some of the super hots, for the bitter of super hots. I have them in there. I don't think it's a lot hotter than that other bar. What's interesting about these bars is you get really inconsistent heat, at least in the lower level ones. I've never had a challenge bar Maybe I will someday, I don't know. But these other ones are, sometimes you get kind of spiky bites, like I did in the beginning of this, and it's just kind of tapering off. My presumption is that this is habanero pepper powder. I quite like this. It is slightly too sweet for me, but this is an excellent flavor combination. And I think this is actually one of the better bars I've had from Willy Pete's. It reminds me a little bit of the Godzilla bar, which you can check out in the spicy sweets playlist from Willy Pete's. I've had quite a few of the different products. I don't know if there's any that I'm missing. I'll need to I need to double check that list. But of the ones I've had, this is definitely one of the better ones. I'm going to give this a legit 1. What's interesting is that the first section of this candy bar was a nice little blast. The second and the third sections were actually relatively tame. Like, they were very, very moderate. And then the last one, again, was somewhat of a blast, which is really, really, I don't think that was intentional, but it's really kind of an interesting dynamic at play there. And I mean, I've got a decent enough bill. I mean, I'll call it a legit 1. It is a very nice sort of general, all around, nice warmth in terms of mouth heat. Nothing too crazy. I think I think this is actually a really cool idea. If you have a Star Wars fan that is interested in spicy foods, this is actually a really good thing to get them if they're not familiar with it. Especially if they like dark chocolate. Like, it is a very, very good combination. If they're not a fan of most dark chocolates, but do like spicy stuff, I would just say get it for them anyway. Because it is a dark chocolate that is on the fairly sweet side of things. More so than a number of the other dark chocolates I've had. It's really difficult finding a good balance. And so for me, I like to have some of the dark chocolate flavor. I like some of the bitterness. But it's a fine balance. For me, once it starts getting over 70% cacao, and I don't know this, I don't see a rating on it. Once it starts getting over 70%, I start to lose interest. Really, kind of the area that I like the best, I would say, is probably the 60 to 70% range. But that really depends also on the manufacturer of the dark chocolate itself. Because 60 to 70% really depends on the chocolatier. You know, what they're doing with it. And this one, I think probably I would prefer it was a little bit more towards 65 to 70. From what I can tell, it is certainly not there. But it's nice. This is a very nice bar. Nothing wrong with it. I have no real objections to it. Like I said, I think there's a lot of really cool parts about this bar as well. So I don't normally celebrate Star Wars stuff, but like I said, I was planning on getting this up in 2023 for the whole May the 4th thing, which is not a holiday to me per se. But it does have a nice tie-in, and I like to do that with stuff where and when I can. So that's why you're seeing it now this year. But yeah, definitely very, very, very enjoyable. Certainly have no... I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I think it's a pretty strong bar. And if you come across these, especially if you're in any of those categories I mentioned, I think this is well worth picking up and going for. So, but there we have it. This is the Willy Pete's Chocolate Han-Banero Candy Bar. Now go forth in peace.
to serve the flame.